Madness Part 1. That was my men's bracket. I'm going through and doing the women's bracket now. The women's starts tomorrow. Right now it's Friday, the 19th of March. So that women's bracket starts tomorrow. My men's bracket came out really early this morning, and it took so long to upload that the bracket had already failed by the time it uploaded. But go ahead, feel free to go and watch that one. But you don't need to watch that to watch this one, obviously. So I'm just going to go through all of my picks for the women's March Madness bracket. Hopefully that's going to be more successful than my last one. Not that difficult, is it? But yeah, I'm just going to go into that now, go through my picks, and I'll see you back at the end of the video. Okay, game 1 at UTSA. UConn are going through here. UConn are on a 50-game win streak over the last few seasons. They won last tournament. They went 34-0 this year. You can't do that on accident. Like, they are genuinely so good. Food's great as well. She'll be probably the number 1 draft in this WNBA draft, so I am absolutely picking them going through. Next, we have Iowa State versus Syracuse. Now, Syracuse here, I think because Darius is out for them, I think that they lose. I would have picked them for an upset if she was back, in all honesty. I think that she is quite good. She's had a solid year, so if she was back, I would have picked them, but I think Iowa State are just too solid, and they go through. Then we have Maryland versus Murray State. Where is Maryland? Not a whole lot of depth in Maryland. They're quite young as well. I still think they have that firepower at top to take down Murray State. So I pick them going through here. And then you get North Carolina versus Western Illinois. I have North Carolina winning this game as well. North Carolina, if you look at them, really good defense, really good from 3. So I'm picking them to go through. Notre Dame versus Fairfield. Notre Dame go through here. Ohio State versus Howard. I have Ohio State going through here. They were very solid, even with the difficult schedule. Great guard rotation as well. That's why I'm picking them here. Illinois versus Colorado. I'm picking Colorado for an upset. I did this in my last bracket. I'm just trying to think of the reasoning. If you have a look at Illinois, they are quite young, their third highest score is out for all of March Madness. I think that's why. So I have Colorado going through and causing an upset there. Then we have Vanderbilt versus High Point. Vanderbilt are going through here as well. I just think they're too solid overall. While I don't think that they have the potential of winning it all, I think they're very, very solid starting lineup. And Michaela Blakes was player of the season as well, averaging 30 in Sec 12. SoCal versus Southern. Southern Cal is too strong. They're the 6-year running in a number 1 seed. They have lost 5 key players from last season, but they have a couple of additions that have really helped them this year, and they don't seem to be too worried about those losses, and I think they go through here. Even though there's no Juju for USC and they're a bit inconsistent, I like their upside a bit more, and I think they're going to cause a bit of an upset here, and Clemson are going to go home maybe 1 round earlier than everyone expected. Michigan State versus Colorado State. Michigan State are going to lose. They have lost 6 from their last 9. They ended the season really, really poorly, and that's why I'm kind of picking them up for a bit of an upset here. I've just brought up the advanced stats. Let me just quickly change them to what I want to see. I want to see 3-point percentage. I want to see, where is it? Defensive. No, not that one. I want to see bench points per game, rebounds per game, and I would also like to see where is opponent points per game. And I think that should be all I would like to see. Yep, cool. I know that you look at this, they don't favour Colorado that much, except Colorado's defense is better than Michigan State's, and I think just because of how bad Michigan State's form has been, I don't think they're able to pick it up in time, and I think they get upset quite early here. Okay, so Oklahoma versus Idaho. I have Oklahoma going through here. Beers has been dominant. She's had a great season, and they're quite quick offensively as well. So as long as Beers stays out of fear trouble, I have faith in Oklahoma going through there. Washington, South Dakota. I got Washington going through there as well. Good defensively, good rebounding. I think that they're going to go through quite easily. Washington as well. Georgia, TCU, San Diego, TCU are going to go through. I think overall TCU just very good defensively and shoot the ball well. So they're going to go through. I also want to see a bit more of Miles before the draft to see how good she can potentially be. Georgia, Virginia, Georgia go through there. I don't think there's much of a question on that. I think if Danny has a great game, I think a great series, they'll go series. If Danny plays well across the tournament, I think they can go quite far. No, I don't. I think Danny should have a solid game, and that's going to be enough to get them through, and that guard rotation is just too good for Virginia. Okay, number 2 seed, Iowa. I have Iowa going through over FDU. Iowa, well, I don't think they are as good as they could have been. Like that 50-point loss to UCLA recently, I reckon hurts because it can either propel them even up again. I think they can realize how bad that was, and that's going to help them really go further, or it's going to hurt them, and they're mentally just not going to be able to take it. So that's why I have them still winning, but I'm not super confident on how far they're going to go. Next side, anyway, UCLA versus Cal Baptist. UCLA are too strong. 3 potential WNBA players in their team, potentially 4. They are so solid. They are so good. They're going to go through quite convincingly, UCLA. Then you got Oklahoma State versus Princeton. Oklahoma State are going to be too good for Princeton. I just think overall-wise they are too solid. I think they're they're sneaky good, Oklahoma State. I reckon they've had a very solid campaign this year. Ole Miss versus Gonzaga. I have Ole Miss going through here. I think overall, you look at Ole Miss, they they should be healthy again. So, and you got McGahn having Ole Miss are going to go through. Ole Miss just overall are too strong. I don't think that Gonzaga have much of a chance against that. Minnesota, Green Bay. I'm going Minnesota here. I think Minnesota are going to be too strong. If you look at Minnesota overall, they're just very good continuity-wise. Last 2 to 3 seasons has been the same key players, and I think that's very important for a team like this. Keep possession well, rebound well. They're going to go through. Baylor versus Nebraska. I think this has the potential to be quite interesting. I think they just are quite inconsistent on the offensive side of the ball. And I think like shown here, Nebraska shoot better. Nebraska don't rebound as well, but bench points are a bit better. Defensively, they're a bit worse. So I think Baylor are going to edge them out, but I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be a very, very good game. Duke, Charleston. I think Duke are too solid for Charleston. I think most people are going to think that as well. That's not really a hot take or anything. After their poor start, they started 3-6. They've been great. They went on a 19-game win streak, 3rd in block rate as well. Just very, very good defensively. I think Fournier is key to them, and I think I have faith in Fournier to show up. Texas Tech versus Villanova. So Texas Tech ended the season quite poorly, and I am going for them to lose. I think Villanova are going to cause a little bit of an upset there. I just think, the way that Texas Tech ended the season didn't give you much faith in them, and they're going to lose. LSU, Jacksonville. LSU are going to go through. Horned Frogs, or not Horned Frogs, that's TCU. LSU's the Tigers. The transfers that they brought in this year have been great. 14 games over 100 points. That's very, very good. Offensively, they're great. So I think that, what do they average? They average where is it? Do I not have their normal? Whatever. They're just too good. They are too good for Jacksonville. Next, we have Texas versus Missouri State. Now, I have Texas going through here. Longhorns just too good. It's their first year in SEC, but I think they looked really solid throughout there. They ended the season on an 8-game win streak, so I think they're going to continue that and just be solid. Oregon versus Virginia Tech. I have Virginia Tech beating Oregon there. I think that Oregon's depth isn't good enough, and I think Virginia Tech just defend that 3-ball super well, so I think that's going to be enough to get them through and cause a bit of an upset. Kentucky versus James Madison. Kentucky I have going through here. If you want to look there, tough conference, Kentucky did go 500 in their conference, but Morgan lead the division in assists per game, so I think they're just going to be too solid for James Madison in the end. Then you got West Virginia, Miami, Idaho. West Virginia are going to take that one there. I think they're just too strong. I think they're too. I don't have much faith in West Virginia, but I think they're just too strong for Miami, and they're gonna go through. Whether it's close or if it's not, I just think they're gonna push through. Bama versus Rhode Island. I like Bama. I like this Bama team. I like this Bama team. Perimeter strong. They really have a good senior guard rotation, good experience. I have them going through. Louisville versus Vermont. I have Louisville going through there. Second best bench unit in the league. They don't have a main scorer, no players over 12 points per game, but overall I just think they're too solid, and I think they are going going to go through. NC State, Tennessee. This one's a bit interesting. You look at NC State, they were disappointing this year overall-wise, but I mean, they have the number one rebounder in their conference, and they had two players over 16 points per game. That top-end firepower and rebounding, I think, is too much for Tennessee, and they go through. Then we have Michigan versus Holy Cross. I've got Michigan going through here. I mean, Michigan, they played both UConn and UCLA this year. They did lose both, but they looked quite solid. I think that they proved that they're going to be able to deal with those smaller teams, and they'll be able to put up a good fight against those big teams. On to the second round. UConn, Iowa State. I like UConn here as well. I mean, they shoot the three better. They do rebound slightly less, but better bench production and better defensively by like 16 points. They're just too good defensively, I think, for Iowa State to really push up against that. And I have UConn going through. Okay, Maryland versus North Carolina. I have North Carolina going through on this one here. They shoot the ball better. They rebound a little bit less, but bench production tiny bit better, and defense is a bit better as well. I just like North Carolina a little bit more than I like Maryland overall. I think their 3-point defense, they defend the three ball really well. So I have them going through there. Okay, next, Notre Dame versus Ohio State. Now, if you want to compare these teams as well, I mean, their 3-point percentage is identical, but I mean, Ohio State rebound quite a bit better, and their bench production is almost double of what you're getting from Notre Dame. So while their defense is quite similar, I think that depth and bench production from Ohio State, and the fact that they had a very hard schedule, and I think they're just going to go through. They're going to be used to those tougher games, and they're going to go through there with that guard rotation is very important for them. And then we have Colorado versus Vanderbilt. You're looking this year, 3-point percentage, Colorado are nowhere near Vanderbilt. However, bench production and depth-wise and rebounding and defense, Colorado are better, and I'm going Colorado to upset the 2-seeded Vanderbilt. Hot take, I know, right? But I just think that overall, Colorado are just going to be able to get that edge out. Like, if you look at the way they finished quite similarly, I know that they tiny bit worse when they looking here, but I mean, I think Colorado are going to go through. I like them a little bit more. I think they're going to cause a bit of an upset. Next, SoCal versus USC. I mean, you have a look at this, right? SoCal are just too good. They just unfortunately are. I don't even think this one's going to be very close. I think Southern California, they're the number one seed for the 6th year running, like I said before. I think they're just very, very solid. And I think they're going to be very, very good again. So I don't see USC putting up much of a fight. Colorado State, Oklahoma. I do have Oklahoma going through here. I mean, they do shoot the ball only at 30%, but I mean, 48 rebounds compared to 36. That's just, that gives you 12 extra possessions a game, essentially. I think that is, it's just too good. I don't think that Colorado are going to be able to put up with that. And a very similar bench production as well. But Oklahoma will go through there. Washington versus TCU. Now, I do have TCU going through here. While it is quite close, I just like TCU that little bit more. I think defensively they're just very, very good, and how well they shoot the ball as well. And like I said, I want to see Miles a bit because I want to see how she looks before the WNBA, and I think she'll want to propel that draft stock a little bit, especially with how those new contracts are coming in. So I think that she'll want to go deep, and I think that TCU will go a little bit deep. Next, Georgia versus Iowa. This is quite interesting, this one. So defensively, Georgia are better. It just really depends how Danny plays for Georgia, in all honesty. Their guard rotation's solid. You compare that to Iowa, where it just really depends how they react to that UCLA game. And I don't think they're going to react super well. I mean, how recent was that UCLA game? The third, that's the ninth. That's literally the last game they played was a 50-point loss to UCLA. So I think that does hurt them overall. I just think that while it is going to be a close game, I do think Iowa will edge out Georgia. I think they will be able to. I just have faith that they might be able to bounce back. If they get a win under their belt against FDU, they'll be able to build on top of that, and I think they'll be able to go through against Georgia. Next, over this side, UCLA will be Oklahoma State. Like I said, UCLA's firepower is insane this year. Like, they just are very, very good. Like, they did not lose against a single Big Ten team. They had 12 wins versus ranked teams. I just think they're too good. Ole Miss versus Minnesota. So, Minnesota there, like, they shoot the ball better. They don't rebound as well, but that's still quite close, that rebounding battle. Bench production, slightly worse, and defense is slightly better there. So I will pick... Yeah, I think that team chemistry in Minnesota just helps them get over the edge as well. I think how much they've worked together, they'll be able to, if this game is close, which I think it will be, they'll be able to have that experience to get them over the edge towards the end of the game. Baylor versus Duke. I do have Duke going through here. I think that it is quite interesting overall, but I mean, overall rebounds per game, quite similar. Bench production a little bit worse, but a lot of these stats look quite... Baylor could pull something off here, you know. Baylor could... It just depends on... No, I don't know. I don't like Baylor's depth enough. I think Duke's depth will be better. I don't like Baylor, how inconsistent their scoring can be. I'm going to go with Duke. That's it. Mine made up, Duke. Okay, and we also have Villanova versus LSU. I have LSU going through there. I think LSU are just too good, really. I mean, those transfers that came in have been great. I think their guard rotation is super important as well to them, and it's very solid, so I have them going through. Texas, Virginia Tech. Texas winning that one. I don't really think there's that much of a debate there. I think Texas will be too strong for Virginia Tech. I mean, yeah, that win streak, I think, put a lot of faith in Texas for me, so I think they're going through there. And Kentucky versus West Virginia. This one is quite interesting. So, I mean, West Virginia, I'm not super big on them. I'm going to Kentucky for an upset. I think that I'm not huge. I'm not buying into West Virginia's trying to sell me. I'm going Kentucky, I think. Yeah, Kentucky to cause technically an upset there. But next, we have Alabama versus Louisville. This is quite interesting for me as well. That bench production, no, I'm going Louisville. I think that bench production, you're getting 43 points a game from your bench? That's insane compared to 25. And defensively, while they're quite similar, and rebound-wise, they're not that far apart, and three-point percentage, they're worse than Bama. I just think Louisville are going to be too strong, and they're going to go through. And the last game in the second round is NC State versus Michigan. I have Michigan going through there as well. I mean, they're quite solid. I think they have that experience. They have that solid rotation that's going to be able to get them past NC State. So, on to the round of 16. Round of 16, UConn, North Carolina, UConn here. Like I said, I like UConn, and you see that in my men's video as well. I'm a big fan of UConn, and I mean, I struggle to see any team in that side of the bracket that's really going to beat them. I just think that UConn are that good. I think they're that solid that they're just going to continue to play and play well. And I think Food, however you pronounce her name, is really going to want to push her draft stock. And the way you do that is you make a deep run. You make your games the most memorable, and I think she will. I do have Colorado's end coming to a run against Ohio State there. Ohio State, their three-point is just going to be too good, and their top-end firepower will just be too much for Colorado, and I have them going through there. SoCal versus Oklahoma. I really like SoCal. It's another one seed I'm picking. I know it's a bit boring, but I like them a bit more than I like Oklahoma overall, and I think they're just too solid. I think that if Beers gets in foul trouble, which I think she will against South Carolina, I think that's going to be quite damaging for them. And while they're quick, I think South Carolina will be able to deal with that, and Oklahoma aren't going to get it through. Next, we got TCU versus Iowa. This one is actually quite interesting. I mean, TCU just defensively really good, and they're shooting the ball well, where if you're comparing them to Iowa themselves, I think that they are going to hit some form, but I am going to pick TCU to go over them. I think their three-point percentage, while it's slightly worse than Iowa's, I think the rebounding as well as that defense is going to get TCU over the edge, and I think Iowa are going to struggle a bit offensively against that, and TCU are going to go through. On the other side, we have UCLA versus Minnesota. That firepower at UCLA, I've said this a couple times, it's just too good. Like, it is genuinely just too good. I don't see anyone beating it. I don't see anyone coming out on top in that, like, really, in this side of the bracket. So we'll go for that one there. Duke versus LSU. Let me have a look at the stats here. I will go LSU. I think, yeah, LSU will just be too strong for Duke. I mean, those transfers have been so good, and that guard rotation, I think, is going to be too good. Offensively, they're gonna be too much for Duke, and I have them going through. We have Kentucky versus Texas. Who do I have? Let's see. First year in sec year, like I said, for Texas. I'll go Texas. I'll have Texas going through here, I think. I think Texas will just overall be too strong. That's a difficult one, though. That is a difficult one. I probably will cut that out, but I just sat there for like 3 minutes thinking. So I got Kentucky going through there. Not Kentucky, sorry. I got Texas going through there. I think overall that Texas will provide just to be that bit too strong. Louisville versus Michigan. I will have Michigan going through here. I mean, yeah, I think Michigan are just too solid overall. I think while Louisville aren't as good as UCLA and UConn, I think that Michigan have the experience against playing teams like that, and that's really going to help them get over the edge here, and they're going to come away with the W. Coolio. So we are on to the Elite Eight. Yep, Elite Eight. So, UConn, Ohio State. Like I said, UConn are just too good. I don't see their losing streak, this would be their 54th win in a row. I don't see it stopping yet. I think that still goes quite good. Ohio State just don't have that overall assets, I guess, in my mind, to overcome UConn. And then we have SoCal versus TCU. TCU, that's boring. I know it's boring, okay? I know it's 2 1 seeds on one side. That is super boring, but that's what it is. Okay? That's my pick. Okay, let me be boring. UCLA, LSU, UCLA. Like I said, that firepower is just too strong. Just too strong overall. I think they go through. Texas, Michigan. I will have Michigan going through here. I think Michigan overall is going to slightly be able to get on top of them. Like, I think there's not much in it, but I do like Michigan just that little bit more. So I have them going through on that one there. Final 4. Okay, we got UConn versus SoCal. Great game. This is a great game. I think this is great. I just think UConn are going to be too good. I think, like I said, the way they've been coached, how solid they've been for the last few seasons as well, I think they're just going to be too strong, and they're going to be able to plow through SoCal and win that game. Okay, and on the other side, UCLA versus Michigan. I think UCLA is just too good. I know this is such a boring pick, but I mean, I think they're clearly the 2 best teams. I think they're both so solid, and while it's a little bit less exciting than the men's bracket I did, which was wrong, lol, so maybe that's where I went wrong. But, I mean, I think these are 2 very excellent teams, UCLA versus UConn. And that's where it's going to intrigue me. I'm going to go a bit more into the stats here. I mean, 3-point percentage is quite similar. Rebounds, UCLA have them. Bench points, UConn are just very, very solid there. Opponent points, UConn's defense is better. If we have a look over here, you want to go what's some important ones here as well? Offensive rebounds, I think I'll chuck in, and defensive efficiency as well. And EFG. I mean, we want to go have a look overall, offensive rebounds, UCLA do have them a little bit there, and that shows in the overall rebounds per game as well. It's not a huge difference, but opponent efficiency as well, I think UConn's defense is going to hold up too strong, in all honesty. I think that while that firepower is at UCLA, I think the way that UConn are coached and how solid they are defensively overall, they are going to win. That's my pick. It is going to be a good game. 78-73, UConn to win. That's my brackets. That's my bracket. So we'll see how that goes. I'm going to be